I think we're ready to take a look at the zoning bylaw amendment. And you're from Kopelman and
I am. Katie Laughman.
Come on, it's really party.
We don't usually have those every.
You drive carefully.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
You're going to drive carefully. Okay, before we get started on this, because as I understand it, we are currently, here's the situation. We are scheduled to have a hearing on May the 8th. The hearing of this bylaw change on May the 8th. 7th. And we are not having a meeting next week, so this is it. This is the meeting to go over the language and firm it up for the hearing, correct? We got a memorandum from the chairman of the Board of Selectmen. I got it with the email at 6:30 this evening, 6:30, with 13 issues with respect to the zoning bylaw amendment. And just reading through this, without going through it, reading it publicly, my feeling about it is we're not going to get there. We're not going to have a bylaw ready by town meeting. We're not.
In other words, if there are this many things.
Well, I think some of these are.
I know, but some of them are basic.
Some of them are basic.
philosophical
They're policy questions, and I think they're being raised for purposes of discussion. And I think
I've already discussed one of them. We have 4 separate times, and if it's going to keep coming up, I'm going to throw in the towel.
don't do that.
And I'm going to. In fact, I'm going to propose that we make a motion to actually just table it. That's what I'm going to propose we do.
Table what,
The whole bylaw.
Bylaw?
Yep. I don't like getting this kind of a memo from somebody who's not connected to our board. It's 6:30 on the night of the final meeting before the hearing. Everything's being sandbagged. We were sandbagged once by actually being forced to do this at breakneck speed at the 11th hour, and then at the 11th, at the 59th minute of the 11th hour, we get a memorandum from the chairman of the very board that sandbagged us into doing it. And this really absolutely incenses me beyond words to get this. I have lived in this town for 43 years. I've been the chairman of this elected board for 9 years and on the board for 17. I've never seen, ever, a document like this, ever, in my experience. Not ever. And I'm not going to. We went to the mat for the Board of Selectmen on this. We went to the mat for them, and to have this come out of the Selectmen's planner's computer, spit out at the last minute. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I mean, I think he asked some reasonable questions.
Some indicate he doesn't even understand the zoning regulations of his own town.
I think that the board has the ability to sort of to go through these points and say,
I'm not standing up at town meeting and proposing this. Not with this kind of thing in front of me. I'm not going to do it.
But I think the board could probably
They
go
can.
through and say, yes or no as to some of the points. I think these are discussion points, things to consider.
I am not going to stand up at town meeting, run the risk of arguing with the Board of Selectmen over a bylaw, over the language of a bylaw that they sandbagged us into producing. I'm not going to do that. I will not do it.
Well, I think some of these are fairly minor issues. I think that the bones of the bylaw are there. I think
Of course they are.
These are some.
We've gone at hammer and tongs.
I've been doing it behind the scenes myself. I haven't been here for that, but believe me, I'm well acquainted with the text of this. I put most of it together. So.
Well, actually, you put some of the edits together.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Somebody else actually drafted it.
Right. I mean, between your drafts and what we've provided, all I'm saying is that I've been working very closely with Joel with your drafts, and I see the points that are being raised here as being something that raise some policy questions on some specific provisions, and I don't think they're intended to derail this.
So I think, and I hear what you're saying, and I like the positive direction you're trying to take this. Okay, so I think we have a couple of different choices. One is we could say, thank you very much, board. Here's what we're recommending. You guys go ahead and do whatever you want with it at town meeting. No, this draft. You know, we can say, you want to put it forth, you put it forth. You know, no, not you or not me. The board of selectmen.
Well,
I know what you're
except that
saying.
the people who write the zoning bylaws are the planning board, so no matter what, it will come to roost on our.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, if this is what, the board decides to keep, okay, which,
I'm not going to get
which
into
we
a
haven't
dispute
done
on town
yet.
meeting floor with the
Right.
Board of Selectmen.
No,
do that.
you can just say it back to
Well,
it.
and it
Here,
may
Board of
not
Selectmen,
come to
check
that.
it.
What do you mean it may not? It won't. Period.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Okay. I think going through item by item at least clarifies how much of a problem we're dealing with. Some of these will be minor, some of them may be fake. I don't know. Okay, I only just saw this a few minutes ago too.
Well, and the fact that they've been raised at this point, I understand that this has all been done in a very short time frame, and that it's very frustrating.
You think he hasn't raised these before? I know he did. I know he did with Joel. Don't be disingenuous. I know the discussion that's gone on. This puts it in the public arena. Honestly.
But it puts it in the public arena before town meeting,
Yeah.
as we're still in the drafting phase, which is, I think, the time for this to be discussed. I mean, we're not at the final public hearing yet. This is still a working meeting on
Let me tell you
trying to
something.
put
We are
this
not
together.
going to have another meeting next week.
Right,
on this.
I am aware of that.
So this was meant to be, except for crossing T's and dotting I's, this was the language. We're not having another meeting before the hearing. That is
That does
insane.
make this a possibly working meeting if we choose to.
Well, it
If you
is
don't
our
want
right to
to, I
reject
don't want
all
to.
of these, isn't it?
Absolutely.
As the planning board, if we disagree with all of them.
Yeah, but I think that you have a good point,
I
that
think
we
that-
should at least walk through it so we've got a good picture.
And to
of
be
what
honest,
we're
I think that
rejecting,
there are some valid
what's major,
concerns
what's
that are
not.
raised here that the board should at least consider. And I don't say they have to accept them, but I think you need to at least,
Al,
I think
no, come on.
I don't like to express an opinion and then have you keep coming back at me with the same response. I don't like that. If that's the way it's going to be, I'll subtract myself from the discussion. But I am diametrically opposed to several of these things, and I have told that not only to the author of this memorandum, but to your colleague. The board communicated that quite clearly the last meeting that we had with Joel. And I don't see any reason why we have to keep airing these same issues over and over.
well, it's absolutely the board's prerogative to not discuss this tonight, and that is your decision to make. Absolutely. I'm not suggesting that this needs to be discussed.
Wait a second. One of the things that's left off at the bottom, just on the back side of the page, it does say, and this has been my point all along, I appreciate that there was imposed proposed in a possibly short time frame for a complex
Absolutely.
bylaw. So to my way of thinking right now, we do need to go over things, but what we're saying is it's not done, it's not ready for prime time, it's definitely not ready for
This
public hearing.
isn't tweaking at the edges.
No,
Yes.
this is,
Yes.
this is basic
big
philosophical
stuff. And
stuff.
so, okay, and maybe there's some really valid things going on here, but we can't do
I
it
don't see,
tonight.
I don't see any reason why we have to sit here and go and debate the philosophical issues of this bylaw.
I'm not saying that you have to.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to.
So, wait a minute
It
now.
was just one recommendation of one way we could go from this point on. There are those other ways too. We could say, well, this is it, we're not doing anything different with it. We're going to withdraw it. If there's other choices.
I'm withdrawing.
and
Yeah,
that's what
I
you would be in
honestly think
favor
that
of.
that's where we're at right now. I mean, not that, I've always felt it was too fast.
Not ready for
It was just too fast. And that most likely
Thank-
it was going to be
Thank the
voted
author
down
of
at
this memorandum
at
for
time.
torpedoing this.
I was amazed at the progress that was made, and mostly
Yes,
the amount
enormous
of work that
progress.
Al put into
but
this.
There's it's a work in progress. And
I worked my ass off on
ready.
this for this guy,
I know,
Screw him.
it's
And that's
been
on camera.
It's been a tremendous amount of work, and I know that the lion's share of that work was done by you, and it's been an impressive effort. I mean, from my perspective, seeing the drafts come in, working with Joel to prepare comments, and I know.
You
that
can
this
smirk
is
all you
done.
want to, but I saw it.
Well,
I
I'm
saw
not,
it.
I'm not smirking.
But I'm serious about this.
No,
This was
I-
a serious effort on my part.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Okay.
Al, this is the person that we're talking to. Okay?
All right,
This is
so
the person we're
I think
talking
we need to move ahead here. You know, personally, because I think this has just been hugely.
This is
Insulting
the
to
most
Al.
disappointing thing I've encountered in all my years on the planning board. Incredibly discouraging.
I appreciate that. This is not coming from our firm. It's not coming from me. I want to make that perfectly clear. This is something I saw at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Okay, so
Why didn't we see it?
Yeah. I saw this. I only saw this by accident at 6:30 tonight. By
it
accident.
wasn't given to us to forward
I know.
to you. I don't know that it wasn't forwarded to you at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's not your fault.
But
Yeah.
And I called Joel yesterday with a few, silly me, I had some minor suggestions about how to tweak the language. He never called me back, by the way, and I want to express my appreciation for that. But somebody could have called me back and told me that this was in the pipeline. Somebody might have done that. That would have been a very considerate thing to do.
at the time it was given to us, I had no idea that it had not also been forwarded to the board. So
Somebody could
I
have picked up the phone and
apologize.
called Donna.
Well, the original message was from Donna. sent
Yeah, it's six-
Tuesday at 6:01 p.m.
Right, and we only got it by accident at 6:30.
So, okay, well, we know things happen,
Shameful.
but okay, shameful, whatever, not good. I think that this is, for now, the end of this bylaw going forward until, I mean, maybe it'll come up in November, but I just think it's, a lot of questions been raised, probably really good ones, or maybe not some good ones, but it's just, this isn't ready for prime time. If Al's not going to present it at the meeting, are any of us happy in presenting this at a meeting? Okay.
Unless we just want to categorically say that it's too late to get these comments and we won't consider them and submit it the way it is.
Does that make you comfortable? That doesn't make me
That means we
happy.
that you have
could
another
face
board.
arguing with the Board of
Right.
Selectmen at
That's
town meeting.
So I think.
Sure they would.
We want to be sure that all the boards are in agreement.
But I just think that this is not going to happen tonight, and it's not going to happen. It's a big
You
deal.
want to make sure that all the boards are on the same
And
page.
some of
Yeah.
the points are really pretty, interesting, and it's like, yeah, so maybe, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, this is it's going to be that we're going to put in something that gets to be like the U.S. tax code, Band-Aid patch for here, and then we'll find out later all the unintended consequences. So let's, okay?
So I have a question. Are we taking a vote to withdraw now, or are we going to wait a week until the public hearing to say we got considerable comments, and they're so considerable that realistically we need more time and we need to recommend against the bylaw. I'm just trying to get an idea as far as where
Is there a
we're
motion? Is there a motion?
Well, that's what he's asking for. What do you want to do, now or with the public hearing? Get everybody in here and then say, guess what, we changed our minds. What do we want to do?
It would seem like a waste of a meeting.
It would, yeah.
Call
A
people.
waste of a lot of time. If I were the townspeople who wanted to have input,
Believe
I'd
me,
be kind of
nobody's
mad
more
about it.
disappointed about this turn of this development dying, nobody in the town of Weston. I just, it makes me physically ill. I tried so hard to get this to work.
But, you know, it was really,
And it's a remarkable
Possible.
effort, and it's a good bylaw. I mean, from my perspective, and I see a lot of these things, this is, I mean, the bones of a really good bylaw are in place. And personally, I would hate to see it tabled forever. I mean, I would hope that
we would like to work
that-
on
that-
it.
that
We would
this
like to
could-
work on it in the
with
fall.
a little bit more time,
Yeah.
this
We
could
need
come
more
back.
time.
Not only a good bylaw, a groundbreaking bylaw.
Is there anything like it in any other town?
Not that I've seen. I mean, the floating, sort of the idea of the floating zoning is not really common.
Really trying to take a lemon and make it into lemonade, and this is the thing she got.
Well, that's a different issue. Okay. The question is, what do we do with the bylaw? Is there a motion? Does anyone here have a motion that they would like to make in terms of what we do with it, where we go from here?
I move that we table this bylaw until September meetings, and then we can start again, addressing some of the concerns, and perhaps have a new bylaw in place
Is there a second?
for the November meeting. Anybody else
All
here?
in favor?
You're not allowed to do that.
No. but-
Just to remind you, you're not the chairman.
Okay.
Yeah, but you were getting up and leaving, so.
You were getting up and leaving, I don't know, we're gonna,
Well, I was-
make it.
I know you were
I wasn't joking.
I know you were joking. I've watched you walk out before.
Yeah, it's been moved and seconded that we
I don't know, was it a unanimous decision? I didn't hear everybody go aye.
I haven't called for a vote.
Well, you
All in
need to.
favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Sorry.
And it's not your fault.
I understand that
I'm
it's
sorry, I'm
disappointing.
sorry you spent all this time
No, you know
here.
what? It isn't disappointing to me. I was just uncomfortable that we were,
Rushing into it.
yes, rushing into it, that we were going to be
It has felt
quite
rushed.
embarrassed. Yes, and Mr. Harry rightfully acknowledges that, you know, I mean, I don't think he meant to insult you. Absolutely. I mean, I know you think I'm
You don't know some of the back conversations.
true, it's true, but I just don't think that it was his intention.
You don't know some of the back conversations.
In the event,
That can be an
it makes me feel a little
offline conversation.
less dread about town meetings this May. And if we can get it nicely honed up.
But I will say this, now that it's tabled, that over my dead body is this overlay district going to apply to every residential district in the town of Weston. Over my dead body. I don't want a Subway shop next door to me.
In the historic structure.
In a historic Subway shop. And I don't care, you know, I'll never
Subway
propose
sandwich
that.
has been around that long, considered historic.
Just
Okay.
Do we
Would you
adjourn?
entertain a motion to adjourn?
entertain.
I'd like to motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.